Let's go! New type of video today celebrating you, responding to your comments on this week's content, including some very impassioned responses regarding TJ Finley. And it's fascinating because it's made me rethink him potentially being the starting quarterback next season for LSU. So if you like deep LSU discussion, like this video, subscribe to the channel. Let's get to it. This is from Johnny Bravo. Now, is this the Cartoon Network Johnny Bravo? Anyway, it does still matter. We're starting with defense here. It does still matter whether you run a 4-3 or a 3-4 in the grand scheme of things, because it differs whether you're running an even or odd front and the personnel you run on the line. Obviously, I'm paraphrasing here. There is a difference between 4-3 DTs and 3-4 DTs and 4-3 ends and 3-4 ends. In conclusion, almost every defense runs hybrid fronts. Ed wanted to switch LSU to a base 4-3. So, Johnny is actually right. So, I do feel confident Daronte Jones is going to help make communication better for the LSU defense. But what I decided to do for this opening comment is give you what Johnny's talking about. You see here, this is the 2019 LSU starting defensive line, and you could tell there was a difference between that group and the 2020 starting defensive line, as the personnel is different. There is a huge difference between a 3-4 and a 4-3 defensive end. Now, luckily for Johnny and for a lot of you that want to get down into this minutia, I have a lot of content regarding this very thing coming up in next week's videos. And here's the funny thing. LSU actually led the SEC in quite a few defensive categories that are good. What if I told you that LSU's defense forced more 3-and-outs than practically every other defense in the SEC? But there was also a lot of bad. So yes, it does matter, the personnel and whether or not you want to run a 4-3 and 3-4. And yes, defenses are multiple and all those different things. But like I said in my initial 4-3 video, I don't care what type of defense you run. What needs to be fixed are philosophies and responsibilities. Can we stop the deep pass, and can we keep contained in the running game? Those two things, based on the film study that I've done, were the two problems that kept popping up with the LSU defense. Hope they keep the tight end involved in the passing game. Bill, I am totally with you on that. Cole Taylor, 6 catches, 36 yards. He's not a guy that's going to stretch the defense the same way that Eric Gilbert stretches a defense. But that doesn't mean you can't be a great LSU tight end. Richard Dixon wasn't a defense stretcher. Thad Moss wasn't either. Let's go to Mel. I think Jones, being DC and safeties coach, will improve the safety play across the board. I hope so. I just don't think Jacoby Stevens fit in well with that 4-3 defense last year. Mo Hampton really struggled. I'm still not sold on Mo Hampton just not being good. You know, I still think he could be an SEC level safety, and then of course you have Jordan Tolles in that mix. But, you know, I would not be shocked if Derek Davis is the starter day one. I do think he is special, and I've had people in the building tell me the same thing. Moving along here, it's something about Matthew Langlois. He gives me the Craig Stelz vibes. I like his style. Hey, Christopher, I love that. You know, Craig Stelz was, you know, one of a kind, and obviously had a very underrated NFL career as well. The one thing about Matthew Langlois is he is really freaking fast. Like if I remember correctly, sub 11-second 100-meter dash. That is faster, I believe, than Chris Hilton's 100-meter dash, just to let you know how athletic that kid is. So, yeah, I hope you're right. You know, Matthew Langlois could be the next hybrid linebacker in the system. I don't think he's a year 1 player, but year 2, year 3, watch out. Moving on to Brad. Hey, a compliment. How about this? First time I've heard you. I'm impressed. You're one of the best, if not the best. Brad, tell me where to send the check. Jaquelin Roy is going to be great. The 808 Mechanic beats. First off, 808 Mechanic, if you're watching this right now, I need you to make me an intro beat. I have no music on this channel, so get to it. Yeah, Jaquelin Roy definitely could be great. There was some good, there was some bad last year with Jaquelin Roy, but he was a true freshman, and, 18 tackles, not bad. Let's go to Blake here. I think Sage can play nickel and even play a hybrid linebacker role. I was more interested in what he said here. I watched him play in Lafayette all 4 years. He would have been the best safety on the team last season if he was on LSU. Interesting. Sage also can run, and he's gained some weight. He's around 205, 210, and he can mark with the tight ends as well as the running backs. Interesting. And Blake is also an Eagles fan. How about that? Hopefully Jamar goes to the Eagles. Him and Jalen Hurts would be a very interesting combo. Sage Ryan is a special athlete, and there's no other way around it. He's going to find a way to the field. Kari, I got to shout him out here, and he gave me some heck for this on the live stream. What happened to Raydarius Jones? So I left Raydarius Jones out of my depth chart piece, so nothing happened. He's still on the roster. This is what I like about the channel. I want you in the comment section to check me, correct me if I'm wrong. And Larry, we're going to get to one of Larry's comments. Dev, the haircut's on point right here, man. You got the white forces ready to go out on the town. I like that. BJ is our best defensive end. All right, so I put an asterisk next to BJ Ojulari's name as the starting defensive end. I think Andre Anthony and Ali Gay will be the starter day one if LSU decides to stay in the base 4-3 personnel. But I have BJ as the pass rush specialist on 3rd and long. And to have those guys be fresh off the bench, just coming in and being a pass rusher, does a lot of good for your defense. And that's what I see in BJ Ojulari. And the funny thing is he can be an every down defensive end. But if you have other defensive ends that can play on the early downs, why not have BJ Ojulari come in fresh and then work him in as well? The one good thing about the defensive line position is that it's not like the offensive line. You could rotate that position heavily. Even those great Glenn Dorsey defenses, they rotated in Marlon Favorite and Ricky Jean Francois and so on and so on. So that's very important to do at that position. We need a video like this every day. GOAT! So this is where I want your comments as well. What kind of content do you like? Do you like daily uploads? Do you like uploads every other day? Do you like the premieres? Some of you might be watching this in a premiere right now. Do you like the premieres at 5 p.m., 5:30 p.m.? It varies, obviously, based on uploading and the news of the day. But just let me know what kind of content you like in the chat or in the comment section down below. And Josh, I really appreciate the compliment. Cameron here, Marcus Doomerville. And we go here, 522 in the clip. Keep your eye on Marcus Doomerville. I got checked here. The most talented in the group. Do your history, do your research, and let's get this man on the field. Go Tigers. So Alan Doomerville, I don't know if Alan is related to Marcus Doomerville. I'm going to say that he is. Alan, I really do believe what I said in the video. The most talented in the group. That is what I said in the video. And Alan, your relative, if this is your son or your brother, I don't know, I really do think Marcus Doomerville will get to play a lot next season. And, look, like I said in every depth chart piece that we did this week, just because you started last year does not mean you deserve your starting role this year, okay? That is so key to remember because, look, it's what Durante Jones said in his interview. Clean slate. This is a clean slate. Everyone's got to earn their role. There are so many new coaches. In fact, there are more new coaches this year than the year before. And we had a lot of new coaches last year. So, look, you're going to have to earn your role, baby. Now we get to TJ Finley comments. This is from Cedric. If you listen to a lot of the fan base, they got TJ's bags packed and ready to send him packing. I had to hear people make Max out to be a superstar in the making when they both played like true freshmen last year's. TJ's flaws were just shown against our best opponents. Interesting. We had another TJ comment. This is from Chillmonger. We'll get to those other ones. Yeah, TJ made turnovers, but let's be clear. He played Bama, Auburn, and A&M, hands down the top 3 defenses we played. Look, both of them are right. You have to factor in opposition played. Florida was a really good team last year, and Max going on the road and beating them with a frail team in his first start with the fog at the end. But remember, Florida's defense was not great. They were very inconsistent. Their pre-snap defenses were laughable last year, very easy to read, and Todd Grantham is just not that good of a defensive coordinator. Something else about Florida is they were the worst in the SEC at missed tackle percentage. In other words, they missed a lot of tackles. And then Max played the worst defense outside of LSU and Vanderbilt in the SEC and Ole Miss, and most of the production were throws to Kayshon Boutte. Max missed a lot of throws in that Ole Miss game. Whereas you look at Miles Brennan, his first 3 games, well, those were 3 very easy opponents. It was Mississippi State. That was the first time Zach Arnett was calling defenses for the Bulldogs. Week 2, Vanderbilt was the worst SEC defense alongside LSU. And then week 3 was Missouri. Ryan Walters, who is a talented defensive coordinator, but Missouri was one of the weaker defenses in the SEC as well. TJ starts were on the road against Arkansas, a very good defense, Alabama, Texas A&M, Auburn, and that game against South Carolina. So outside of South Carolina, those other 4 defenses were arguably the 4 best defenses on LSU's schedule, and all of that factors in. The only problem with TJ, and I said this in the depth chart piece, the turnovers. They weren't just turnovers. They were back-breaking turnovers that were returned for near touchdowns or touchdowns, and a fumble recovery for a touchdown against Auburn, which should have been tackled by John Emery, but still, it was the kind of turnovers that he made. Now, Larry here, I want to start Cam Wire at guard. So Dev, his shape-up is obviously great. Larry is a barber in Lafayette, Louisiana. So shout out to you, Larry. I'd start Cam Wire at right guard. Interesting. Cam got a lot of playing time, and remember, Cam Wire was also the starter. I say the starter. He started a lot at offensive tackle. Then in the Florida game, he was a guy that stepped in for Chasen Hines at guard when Chasen Hines got hurt. So I would not mind Cam Wire starting at guard and keeping Deculus at tackle, or I would not mind putting Deculus at guard and starting Cam Wire or Doomerville at that right tackle position. Great video as always. Love your content, buddy. My thoughts on QB. Miles is the starter, but Max definitely gets packages specifically for him. Think of him as a more passing version of Taysom Hill. This is from Tyler. So, number 1, TQ, you have been a big-time supporter. I really do appreciate that. Miles, and this is important, Miles can run. He definitely can. I say Miles. Max definitely can run. He is a threat as a runner. But he is not a dynamic runner. And that is a huge difference. They had design packages for Max Johnson to run. And those design runs rarely worked. Some of that is due to bad offensive line play. Some of that is due to the lead blocker, which oftentimes was the running back. He would miss blocks. We did a few film study breakdowns of Max Johnson design runs against Texas A&M. I just don't think putting him in as a runner is something that would be all that effective. What I would say, though, let's say Myles Brennan is a starter, there should be a package where TJ Finley is a runner on short yardage situations, such as quarterback sneaks, which obviously we all remember the Missouri game. Let's go to Trey. And Trey, thank you for all your donations to the channel for our live streams. I think I prefer Brennan starts. His stats from his first 3 games suggest that he has the talent to perform at a high level. I agree. I would not mind Myles Brennan. I wouldn't mind any of the 3 starters starting if Jake Peetz feels that starter is the best one available. Corey, do you think Neighbors moves to corner? Look, they recruited him to play wide receiver. I am a believer in position switches. I do. I think moving someone to the other side of the ball, if it benefits the player and the team, I'm all for it. But it's way too early to move a true freshman's position at this point. CB's ready to fight. I like that. Hate to risk Sting's health, but I'd like to see him returning punts with Palmer. I still think he is the best athlete on our team. Well, I agree with you. Sting is probably one of the best, if not the best athlete on the team. But with his injury issues this past season, I just don't want him playing. I know Orgeron said Sting would play offense this year. I just don't think it's worth it. I think if you have a corner of that caliber, there's no need to risk his health. Is a really good comment here from G. Sneff. Who gets hurt the most by the scholarship reductions or the walk-ons, since it's going to be those guys who lose an opportunity for a scholarship, and that is obviously the case. You know, it's always those feel-good stories, those viral social media moments when, you know, the team surprises a walk-on with the scholarship, and LSU still might be able to do that. Mario, Wi-Fi and cell service has been out all week in Houston, finally able to get caught up, and Mario, I really hope everybody that's dealing with this ice storm, and I noticed a lot of people still don't have electricity, and that really sucks. And hopefully the people in power who can fix these issues will have these fixed. And I know this storm has been random, but I hope you guys have stayed safe. I hope you guys are cautious when you're driving. You know, we've had a lot of bad stuff happen this past year, and hopefully this content for Mario and for everyone is a welcome distraction from all of that. Oh, some good news to end today's video. A.J. Johnson commits, a 2022 wide receiver. This is the 3rd Louisiana wide receiver committed for the class of 2022. Isidore Newman High School. Bo Bordelon, an offensive tackle on Isidore Newman, also committed to LSU. And the big domino for 2023, Arch Manning, the quarterback of Isidore Newman. So, look, this is nice. Obviously, there are some other positions that LSU is going to need to address because they are pretty loaded at wide receiver. But still, if LSU wants them, that's obviously a big get. I do like that there is a Coach Carter LSU on LSU. That is offensive analyst Carter Sheridan, who played a big role in this recruitment, as did Mickey Joseph. So, good stuff here for LSU. So we have a growing fan base of Bug the Dog fans. Bug is a real MVP. Tartar good too. So in our last live stream, Bug's sister or best friend Tartar. Look, I appreciate all your support to the channel and hope you enjoyed Tartar as well. Obviously, this was a different kind of video today. I hope you enjoyed it, and if I didn't shout your comment out, I'm sorry. As you can tell, there was a lot. It is Power Hour LSU. Boom! I think we're doing steaks, and her dad is a grill master when it comes to the steaks. Medium well, well.